Let me welcome you to today's roundtable discussion, which is entitled After the Summit of the Future, New Momentum for Arms Control and Disarmament? Question mark. It's really something that we should discuss. We are organizing this together with the Austrian Research Association, there with the working group on Peaceful Change that I'm heading, and with the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs. And I would like to thank Rebecca, who is on Zoom. You're going to see her in a second, for helping us organize this event in a really wonderful fashion. And thanks a lot to everyone actually who is here in the room as well and helps to facilitate things here. A few things, a few words about the summit of the future, the Pact for the Future. It's a really long document, if I remember correctly. It's almost 61 pages long, and contains the Pact for the Future proper, and then two annexes. The one is Annex 1 is on the Global Digital Compact, and Annex 2 on the Declaration of Future Generations. And this is not only a long and perhaps sometimes unwieldy document, but it's something that has been in the making for a long time now. And so for over a year, there were lots and lots of discussions, multiple stakeholders and everything. So there was a lot of input into this process, and then eventually it was negotiated at the United Nations a few weeks ago. When we look at the Pact for the Future, and this is actually where we find most of the things on arms control and disarmament, then there are 5 different sections. There is no section on disarmament and arms control, but there is a section on international peace and security. And within that section there are 2 actions. So those are supposed to be the action points that summarize the gist of it and that should galvanize support by the member states. There's action number 25, who will advance the goal of a world free of nuclear weapons. And there's action 26, who will uphold our disarmament obligations and commitments. And then when you look at the pact itself proper, then you're going to find much more elaboration on all of these things, especially on different kinds of weaponry, different kinds of disarmament obligations, and so on. A couple of things are also implicit. So Action 27, for instance, talks about new and emerging technologies, and obviously these oftentimes can be weaponized. They have repercussions for arms control and disarmament. But I'm going to stop here. It's really just to introduce, and I think events like this are important because this is a big document, and now the point is to fill that document with life. Yeah? So that it doesn't stay something that was simply negotiated at the United Nations, but that is actually something that changes things. I'm hesitating about being implemented because it's not legally binding or something like that. But we're going to get at that. Let me introduce you our panelists quickly. And now I think you should be able to see Rebecca. There she is. Rebecca, hello. Rebecca, if I'm not mistaken, is in New York again at the moment. She is the chief of the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs here in Vienna. And given that job, she obviously shuttles back a lot between Vienna and New York. She's been at UNODA since 2019, and since 2022 she is the chief. She's been at the United Nations since 2008, so for about the same time that I've been at this institution. And she previously served in the United States Department of State in Washington. Then to my right is Jay Bushin. He is senior analyst at the Open Nuclear Network, which is associated with Pax Sapiens, and he specializes on the analysis of nuclear and missile programs. He's basically one of my neighbors here from the Argentinierstraße. And the other neighbor is really quite amazing. The other neighbor is Stefanie Fenka from across the street, actually, quite literally. She is the director of the International Institute for Peace in Vienna. She has been in this position since 2016. Also has a number of other positions. She is member of the Advisory Committee for Strategy and Security Policy of the Scientific Commission at the Austrian Armed Forces. It's a very long name.
Yes, it is.
And she's also the chair of the board of the Balkan Forum in Pristina. And then we also have someone who has actually been at the Summit of the Future himself. That is Marcus Wein-de-Wang. He was there as UN Youth Delegate of Austria, and has a lot of other interests in international affairs as well. Experience in development initiatives in Senegal, has a background in business, economics, and international legal studies. So plenty of interest in international affairs.